The galactic transit hub on Station Kepler 442 processed over 10 million travelers daily. Among the throngs of species, Vraxians with their crystalline exoskeletons floating quilmesh, towering Korthak warriors. One elderly Thessian woman stood perfectly still near Terminal 7, her translucent blue skin dulled with age, her ceremonial robes torn and dusty. She turned in slow circles, her four eyes blinking in different sequences, a sign of deep confusion in her species. Her thin fingers clutched a small data slate that flickered with corrupted symbols. Hundreds passed her. A Vraxian businessman sidestepped without looking. A group of quilmesh floated higher to avoid her space. Two Korthak security officers glanced at her, noted her species' reputation for longevity and self-sufficiency, and moved on. On this station, everyone had somewhere to be. No one had time for a confused old alien who should have known better than to travel alone. No one except Marcus Webb. The 17-year-old human had been waiting 3 hours for his connecting transport to Earth after a school expedition to the mining colonies. His classmates had already left on an earlier flight, but Marcus had missed it trying to help a quilmesh family find their lost child in the entertainment district. It was just his nature. His mother always said he'd stop to help a wounded animal in the middle of a marathon. He noticed her because she reminded him of his grandmother, that same lost expression she'd had before the dementia got bad. Before they'd had to say goodbye. "Excuse me, ma'am?" Marcus approached carefully, activating his universal translator implant. "Are you all right?"
Can I help you find something?
The elderly Thessian's four eyes focused on him, and for a moment something ancient and powerful flickered in their depths, before softening into relief. "Young human," she said, her voice a melodic whisper. I cannot remember where I'm supposed to go. My data slate is broken. My family," her voice cracked. "I've lost my family." Marcus felt his chest tighten. "Hey, it's okay. We'll figure this out together. I'm Marcus. What's your name?" "Velshara," she replied, her shoulders sagging with exhaustion. "I am Velshara of the 7th Dynasty, though now I am simply lost." "Well, Velshara, let's get you somewhere to sit first." Marcus gently guided her to a nearby bench. Ignoring the annoyed looks from other travelers who had to move around them, he examined her data slate, completely fried probably from passing through an incompatible scanner. For the next hour, Marcus worked tirelessly. He visited 6 different information kiosks, each staffed by different species who barely glanced at Velshara, before dismissing her case as non-priority. He argued with the Vraxian supervisor who suggested she be sent to a holding facility until family could be located. He spent his own credits buying her water and food synthesized for Thessian biology. Finally, at the 7th kiosk, a tired-looking quilmesh official actually listened. "Velshara of the 7th Dynasty?" The official's gelatinous form suddenly went rigid. "The Velshara? The Silent Empress? The peacemaker of the Andromeda Accord?" Marcus blinked.
I'm sorry, the what now?
The official's translator crackled with panic. This woman negotiated peace between 17 warring species 400 years ago. She's one of the most revered figures in galactic history, and she's been standing in our station. "How long?" "About 4 hours," Marcus said quietly, suddenly understanding the magnitude of what he was witnessing. Within minutes, the terminal erupted in controlled chaos. High-ranking officials materialized from nowhere. The station commander herself, a distinguished Korthak matriarch, arrived with a security detail. Her face twisted in what Marcus had learned was their expression of shame. Velshara simply smiled as they fussed over her, but her four eyes kept returning to Marcus. "Young human," she called out as officials tried to escort her to a VIP lounge. She pulled away from them and walked back to Marcus. "Do you know why I traveled alone today? Why I disabled my security detail and came here in disguise?" Marcus shook his head. "Because I have lived for 642 years, Velshara said softly, "and in all that time I have been treated as an empress, a diplomat, a weapon, a symbol. But today I wanted to know if anyone would help an old woman who was simply lost. Just one person, one being who would see past everything to simple kindness." She placed her thin fingers on Marcus's shoulder. 73 species passed me today. Thousands of individuals. All too busy, too important, too indifferent. But one human child stopped. "Why?" Marcus felt his face flush. You reminded me of my grandma. And she always taught me that being kind doesn't cost anything. It's just what you do. Velshara's laugh was like wind chimes. What you do, so simple, so human. She turned to the assembled officials, her voice suddenly carrying the weight of authority that had negotiated the fate of star systems. This is the third time humanity has surprised me. The third time your species has shown me something I had forgotten existed in the galaxy. She looked back at Marcus. I asked for one person to help, one act of simple decency, and it was a human who answered. Again. This is why, despite your youth as a spacefaring species, despite your small numbers, you belong among the stars, not because you are strong or advanced, but because you still remember how to be kind when no one is watching. The station commander stepped forward, her translator thick with embarrassment. Young human, the Thessian High Council will want to honor you. There will be ceremonies, rewards. Marcus interrupted, something his teachers would have scolded him for. Actually, I just want to make sure Velshara gets home safely. And maybe, he smiled sheepishly, maybe someone could call my mom and explain why I'm going to miss another transport. Velshara's 4 eyes shimmered with what Marcus realized were tears. You see, she said to everyone watching, this is humanity. This has always been humanity. We would do well to remember it. As news of the incident spread through the galaxy's communication networks, the story evolved. Some embellished it, others analyzed it, but the core remained the same. Everyone had ignored the lost old alien lady, until a human teen aided her and discovered she was exactly what she appeared to be. Just someone who needed help. And that, Velshara would later say in her address to the Galactic Council, was the most important lesson of all. In a universe of empires and species and ancient powers, sometimes the greatest act wasn't conquest or diplomacy or advancement. Sometimes it was simply stopping to help someone find their way home. Marcus Webb eventually made it back to Earth, 3 days late, accompanied by a Thessian diplomatic escort and carrying enough commendations to fill his college applications twice over. But what he remembered most wasn't the ceremonies or the attention. It was Velshara's final words to him at the transport dock. Your species has a saying, be the change you wish to see. You are that change. Marcus Webb, you are proof that humanity's greatest strength isn't in your weapons or ships, but in your refusal to walk past someone in need. She had hugged him then, a gesture not common to her species but perfectly natural to his. Thank you, she whispered, for seeing an old woman instead of an empress, for making me believe in kindness again. As Marcus's transport lifted away from the station, he watched Velshara grow smaller in the observation window, surrounded by officials and honor guards. But she was looking up, her 4 eyes tracking his departure, one thin hand raised in farewell. He raised his hand back and smiled. Just doing what any decent person would do, he thought. And perhaps in that simple truth lay humanity's greatest contribution to the stars.